Okay, let's talk about inflammation. Woo! Okay, we're gonna start hot and heavy, and we're gonna talk about living and dying. Just kidding, it's not gonna be morbid. Okay, so first things first, and most important, the root cause of all illness is inflammation. Literally, every disease starts with inflammation. You know, when you get a cut and that cut becomes inflamed, and that is your body trying to protect itself. So the immune system is activated and it causes inflammation around the cut, and the inside of your body is no different. Inflammation is a process by which your body's white blood cells and the things they make protect you from infection from outside invaders such as bacteria and viruses. When your body encounters an offending agent like viruses or bacteria or toxic chemicals, or suffers an injury, it activates your immune system. So your immune system sends out its first responders, which are inflammatory cells, and cytokines, which is a substance that stimulates more inflammatory cells. Um, so inflammation occurs when your body activates the immune system. It can be caused by food sensitivities, an eating approach in low nutrient dense foods. And it has been linked to weight gain and insulin resistance as far as like the gut goes. Inflammatory disease is a broad term for autoimmune disease, which is caused by chronic inflammation. So autoimmune diseases occur when your body mistakenly attacks healthy cells. Some risk factors correlated with an overactive immune system. So when your body is constantly trying to protect you from toxins, processed foods, stress, etc., it's in a chronic state of keeping your immune system activated. So an overactive immune system, that's where the autoimmune comes in. Normal cells are exposed to toxins, and a lot of the toxins come from the mind, what we eat, what exposures we get. The DNA of our cells has repair mechanisms. If the repair mechanisms are in place, then what happens is the cell will begin to divide like normal. When it stops dividing, and that's what's called a senescent cell or an aging cell, and when the cell begins, so that cell that stops dividing, it begins to produce these proteins, and they are inflammatory proteins. And if there are enough inflammatory proteins, then that's when we get a disease. So if the repair mechanisms in the DNA are abnormal, as just described, then the cell will become a cancer cell. This is why it is vitally important that we have a healthy immune system, because that is how we can actually age healthy. And that's how we can be prevented from getting diseases. And I don't share this to shame or scare anyone. I don't want to be a fear monger, but I know that when I am given knowledge, then it helps me understand things in a better and easier way, and then I can do better for myself. So I just want to impart the things that I have learned onto you so that you can too grow and be a healthier version of yourself if that's what you choose to do. A lot of people say, and I've been getting this lately, is, well, we only live once, or we're all going to die of something. And my response always is, all of that is true, and I totally agree with all of that. We need to enjoy our time here. It goes fast, and we only get one chance at it. But don't you want to feel good while you're here and while you're alive? And don't you want to age feeling healthy rather than living in morbidity toward the end of your life because you have some type of horrible disease that's keeping you from living the life that you want to live? And if you're lucky enough to have a long life, and guess what? Being healthy feels great, honestly. It's not boring or restrictive or any other label that I feel like people try to attach to it. I honestly feel free and strong and better than I ever have, better than I did like 10 years ago. So that's my personal choice, and I just want everyone, I want to help everyone feel their best so that they can feel the same way. Okay, so back to inflammation. We know that the root cause of all disease is inflammation, and inflammation is caused by activating the immune system. And guess where 70% of your immune system is? As we learned last time, it's in your gut. That's a huge connection between the gut and the immune system. So, an unhealthy gut may increase systemic inflammation and alter the proper functioning of the immune system itself. This is what leads to autoimmune diseases, like I said earlier, where the body attacks itself rather than just the harmful invaders. So the gut is connected to the immune system, the endocrine system, and lots of other organ systems. But the biggest connection is the brain. The biggest connection that the gut has is to the brain. So the gut-brain axis, which we did talk about last time too. So let's talk about neuroinflammation, the process which systemic inflammation affects our brain. It is highly related to symptoms of depression, anxiety, cognitive fog, and lots of other mental issues. One of the major drivers of inflammation, again, is dietary choice. I know I keep beating a dead horse, but what we put in our gut is literally what sends these signals to the rest of our body. And as we've moved to a diet of highly processed foods, we've done a lot to trigger the alarms of inflammation inside our bodies. And we can't talk about mental health or inflammation without talking about the microbiome in the gut. It plays a huge role in not only regulating inflammation, but also in regulating our mental health. So decreasing the number of highly processed meals that you eat has a tremendous impact on a mood and brain health, lots and lots of things. Studies have shown a huge decrease in depression when following like a Mediterranean diet, which is my favorite one personally. At 19% reduced risk of depression when populations eat a more traditional style diet. Traditional style diet meaning what we were eating like 100 years ago before all of these processed foods. 19% decrease in depression just from going back to a traditional diet. One of the major drivers of inflammation is dietary choice, as we were saying. And as we've moved, like basically all of the foods that we're eating is triggering so many things in our body that we might not be making the connection to. That's my main goal, is to get everyone to just really crowd in those good foods and crowd out those bad foods. I feel like cancers and autoimmune diseases are so common today, and it's no coincidence. I mean, if I have to get my tinfoil hat on, but there's no coincidence that along with this ramp up in disease, new diseases, all these diseases, is also the same time when these processed foods and all these toxins became more common. I mean, it's plainly obvious, and it's also no coincidence that the same metabolic issues that individuals have caused by the modern American diet, or MAD, as it's known, things like obesity and diabetes also doubled the risk or greatly increased the risk of depression and anxiety. The gut and the brain, our mental health, our physical health, the diseases, it's all starts in the gut. I feel like people need to be educated to make these connections and to make better choices for themselves. So, in the light of making better choices, here are some things that you can do to help with inflammation, which are honestly the things we talk about when striving to live a healthy lifestyle in general. So, lower your stress levels, improve your sleep and get enough of it. So make sure you're getting enough sleep. That's really important. Decreasing your environmental toxins. Take that load off your endocrine system. Take a prebiotic and a probiotic. Check for your food intolerances. You might be intolerant to certain foods that you don't know. Stay hydrated. It's important. Eat slowly. And eat a diet that's anti-inflammatory, which includes a wide range of colorful fruits and vegetables. So some foods that are good for fighting inflammation: fatty fish, so you're getting those omega-3s, nuts, avocados, fruits like strawberries and blueberries, oranges and cherries, so berries and citruses, cruciferous and leafy green vegetables, tomatoes, mushrooms, turmeric, and olive oil. And 4 types of foods that are good for your gut health is like high fiber foods like legumes, whole grains, vegetables and fruits, garlic, fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, collagen boosting foods like citrus, fruit, broccoli, meat, eggs, nuts. We need that collagen. So crowd in the whole foods and crowd out the processed foods. It doesn't happen overnight, but these are the things. Remember, we always want to get to the root cause of the inflammation so that the rest of your body can heal. I will post some more informational graphics so that you don't have to take notes on this video. So it can give you more of like a daily thing to kind of remember. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, and let's move on to the next topic.